Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm in first year in NCD. It's common level, and I did a PLC before this for a year in each core. And so, the best advice I could give when starting a portfolio is really just put something down on paper and then work from it. Because for so long I couldn't necessarily figure out what I wanted to do, and so I just started drawing eggs, my sketchbook, and just pictures that I had, which led me to barriers a lot. And so as I'm working through it, I'm just distorting barriers and just looking at it, the same kind of object, loads of different ways. Started looking at different barriers, different textures through barriers, and then basically I made a map of where I go every day and where I see barriers, because in Nicole at the time there was loads of construction being done, and so I worked off the team connections and disconnections, and the relationships they have, and humans and stuff like that. And so I was working with images and my typewriter at home. And basically, really enough, it's like as if it's related about COVID at the moment, because it's all about isolation and disconnection, and really trying to distort and go through a long process with your work. And so I started working with just typography and how I can distort a word to create an emotion. Worked with different paper, plastics and stuff like that. And so here's even more images and kind of just how I can create a composition that makes more of it interesting, not just looking at how we can just take a picture, like how can you incorporate what I've been doing all along. And so I'm just working through them. And so this is the final piece based on it, based on isolation and how I can incorporate the word isolation visually. So I think that's the main priority when it comes to portfolios. Don't be afraid to put things on paper and work through it so that you can see, you can look back on your sketchbook and on the process and stuff. And so in Inchcore, how I based my portfolio on was that it was all around my surroundings. So I think it's really important to get as much primary research as you can, because I based off mine on two colours that I kept seeing throughout the few months, which was red and yellow, and all the different barriers and doors and opportunities and choices. And so I'm moving towards the possibilities of the choices you have when you're disconnected or when you're connected, and what you can do with that. And so this is a piece I did for Dublin Canvas. They have the boxes around town and around Dublin, and again it's based on connections, which is a print that I did, and these are all the sketchbook work I did as well. Yeah, like what we choose to reveal and stuff like that. And so again I'm using the street because I think it's a really, really good environment to use, because everyone walks through, even people that don't necessarily go to a gallery. So it's really thinking of things that people haven't necessarily thought of. Again, this is all in each core. All these, my environment is really what I based it all off. All the symbolism really of different barriers, different doors, which are different opportunities and choices, different colours which represent different things for me, which are primary colours, so that they're like the standard colours that everything else derives from. And also all the barriers I was seeing was linked with those colours, which are primary colours. And then I started going through what did those colours mean and why are certain colours on certain doors. And so I created these 3 paintings which link to just a number of barriers I kept seeing all the time and the different colours. And again, you can work off different mediums using different techniques. It doesn't necessarily have to be a canvas, it can be an object that you paint on. Yeah, and then these are just pieces I've done with acetate, which is like a nail varnish remover, and really just trying to again portray that vision of disconnection with yourself, or connections with other people, and what happens when you disconnect. And then so this, I think the people kind of lean towards showing final pieces, but I think it's really important to show your sketchbook work. And it depends, you can have 1 or 2 sketchbooks, or you can have 1 sketchbook, you can have 1 sketchbook and loads of big pieces. It's all up to you how you go about it. But I chose to keep 1 sketchbook for the balaclava I did and the painting. So this is me just working with images, different colours represent different emotions, and again collaging. And so as I developed and as I distorted images, and they just link to the bigger boards I have here. For example, this is like the billboards. That's how the technique I used on the big billboards. and then I worked through the balaclava, and I really wanted to try and incorporate the primary sources I was using into the materials I was using, so that's hence why I really wanted to use all the construction site material really, and what I could possibly do. And these are all the different possibilities and the different approaches I could have went about it. But with a sketchbook, you can always look back and see what you liked from different parts, and you can just create a new one. It's just endless. It just depends on whether you want to start with the development process of how you can go about things, or you can look at the materials. It's just really, it really is up to you. But yeah, thank you.